Vine Talks, be fruitful.
Welcome to yet another episode of Vine Talks. My name is Ronnie and I am your host as usual. Remember, take some time to follow us on our different social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go down here, or is it down here, and like the page, follow it, and tell your friends all about it. Be fruitful, that's our tagline. And speaking about being fruitful, one of the things that limits us the most when it comes to bearing fruit and being the best expression of ourselves is substance abuse. It's not the first time. You and me both have had stories of family members, fathers, people in work who have lost out on great opportunities all because of substance abuse. And although don't have all the statistics here with me, the last I checked with Butabika Hospital here in Kampala, Uganda, 80% of the people in the mental health facility are there because of substance abuse. And an even staggering number is 80% of them are youth. And so that's why we thought today this should be something we would like to discuss. And joining me on the set is my friend Bill Bekunda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
So Bill is the ED of Hilo, and you also run a rehabilitation center. Maybe just quickly tell us what Hilo is all about and a little bit about the rehab.
Yes, thank you, Ronnie. Hilo is Healthy Youth Lifestyle Options.
Okay.
It is an outreach organization to sensitize people about substance use and impulse control disorders. Basically, we want to prevent, stop it before it starts. For those who are contemplating, give them reason not to. For those who have started, to stop.
Okay.
And for those, and then rehabilitation, Safe Places Uganda. I am the recovery coach there, due to my experience of addiction and recovery. And that is where we do help people who are already suffering from the problem,
Okay.
to get out of it and live normal, productive lives.
All right. So
Yes.
you are a former addict yourself.
I am an alcoholic in recovery.
A former alcoholic, You say it like it's in present tense.
Yes, in present tense, I am an alcoholic in recovery, meaning I'm still an alcoholic. If I use, I'll not be able to control it. That is what being an alcoholic means.
Okay.
But I am not an alcoholic in active use.
So you're an alcoholic
In recovery.
Meaning if
Long
I brought
term
a
means-
glass of wine right now.
Yes, and I start, I will not be able to stop.
Oh wow.
Yes.
It's a good thing we're drinking water then. So let's just jump into it, Bill.
Yes.
Let's go way back to the beginning. Your story.
Yes, please.
You are born and raised in a well-to-do family, stable family. You're the third born of 7 children, and you start deep down in Western Uganda, one of the top schools, Kabale Preparatory, right?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Just tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up.
Yeah, growing up, I was privileged to be born to a family where we did not lack. We never had fees delay. We never lacked food on the table.
The school fees defaulter.
Never, it had never happened. Actually, even in my later days as an addict, I would first swallow the first round of school fees and then the second comes on the next day. Not a good story to tell. But yes, we were privileged. We lived a good life. We had almost everything that we had things that we needed, not exactly what we wanted. My dad was a doctor. My mom lived to grow to be in one of the highest offices, actually the highest non-political office of Bank of Uganda, which is board secretary.
Yeah.
And
I remember her signatures on all
Yes.
the shilling notes that we carried around.
Yes, and I used to brag about it a lot, as if it was my achievement. Yeah, and so in my primary, we were in Kabale Preparatory School, and I finished my P7 as the best in that school, but also the best in Kigezi region.
In the whole region.
In the whole
So
of
you got a
Kigezi.
4.
Yes, I got a 4. Well, actually, only 2 people from that place who got a 4. Which now got me to move to St. Mary's College, Kisubi, my first choice for secondary school, because my cousin had been there and I really admired him. So, following the leader. Yeah, so when I joined my senior 1, I was kind of intimidated by the people around me,
Because you're coming from a village school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't appreciate its value at the time.
Yeah.
I just looked at where it is, Kabale and Kampala. But by the end of my first term holidays, my first term
In school,
exams, by the I missed because I got panic attack and I fell ill because of that intimidation and fear. Then we used to begin in second term at that time. So in the third time, I was the third best in my school. So I mean in my class. So I realized actually I'm not
just
so
like
bad.
these guys.
Yeah, and then senior two beginning, the first term, same story. But then at the beginning of the second term, a group of my friends whom I used to lecture about going to drink and smoke their parents' money, managed to, lure me into going by saying, just come and see how we operate so that you can stop giving us your lectures. And I went down with them. And
so you guys escaped from school and go to...
Yes, we escaped
Mama
from school.
Teo's,
We went to Mama Teo's, one of the most famous people from legends we know from SMAC, where she used to brew local brew, the local alcohol.
Yeah.
There was the one in Ekaleku which was like bushera, but
Yes.
then we used to go for the kasese, waraj.
Hard liquor.
So we go down, we sit in a hut around a table, and we have this one guy who is in charge, and he has a bottle, his who controls the bottle, and we use one glass. So the glass he pours in, it goes around.
Shots going round.
Yes.
How many were you?
I think we were about 10.
Wow.
10.
So
10 of-
10 youngsters, S2, that's about 15, 14 years old.
Yes,
And you're all taking these shots.
we are all taking this.
Okay.
And so it goes round, and when it gets to me, I dodge it, the first one, the second one. And when we came in, we were all somber and quiet and hiding.
Because you were in the wrong place at the wrong
Yes,
time.
by the time the glass was going round the third time, people are already talking about, the teachers might be in the deputy headmaster might be in the next room, the other teachers who drink, whom we know,
Confidence levels are
we are going up. So by the time it came to me the third time, I felt like, let me just take for this time so that I get out of this mood, yeah? And then I'll have,
really excited.
yes,
By talking, by laughing,
then I'll have,
the thing was having effect.
it was having effect. Then I'll have more reason to give these guys a lecture about what we are doing.
Okay.
Now, when I took it, of course, the first sip is hot. It burns.
All
It
the way.
smells. It makes you cringe your face. Yeah, it's ugly. Let me just say it's ugly. And so I swallow it. It burns. But by the time it hit my stomach, by the time the burn is getting to my stomach, I was already feeling good. Good. And I was like, you mean this is what I've been missing?
Okay.
I mean, it was an instant change. My life changed from that point. So
One sip.
just one. So by the time it came back to me next, I'm like, let me compensate for the rounds I've missed. And this time, the second sip goes down smoothly. I think the first one has opened the way. No more coughing, nothing. So I now compensated, and I totally entered a different world. And I felt I was happy. I felt I had arrived. I felt this is the missing link in my life. And I can say, honestly, from that day forward, I would actually meditate on the next time I'm going to go out and have fun. So we go back to school. I'm all excited. I led the way. I was making noise. They allowed me to go. They actually used me as a scapegoat.
To test.
If the teachers are around there somewhere, they'll catch him. Then that's what happens. So leader. So anyway, you go. Reached our dormitory. I made fun. I made people talk and laugh, and I became an instant hero. The next day, I was the story of how I was so much fun. I was so much.
That guy.
Yes, and then
we need to do this again.
Yes. So now I was, of course, thinking of when is the next time I'm going to feel this? What do I need? I want to know everything. And then, they start giving me the advice. You see your pocket money. You see even this grab that you have. We can take it to those shops over there, deal them. If you're still in Kampala, there is a shop somewhere. It's a supermarket on Kuruma Road. There were all these things. I had entered a new world.
So by end of that term, what is your drinking like?
We used to escape every weekend to go to Mama Teo's first, then we crossed to Kampala to a place called Echoes to dance Deviga, and then come back drunk, of course. That was almost every weekend. But what happened to me most, the biggest difference I saw was that from my third position, I became the 25th.
So it had a toll on your academics?
Yes. And there was a friend of mine who used to tell me, he said, but you guys, the way you drink, we don't know where you'll be soon. I don't know what he meant, but now I do at the time. So it became that. Now I started becoming aggressive. Besides becoming demanding, I started not wanting to associate with family. I started wanting to be on my own. I wanted my space. I wanted to be, you know. Yeah.
So by the time you're completing, say,
Senior 4. Yeah. Senior 4, I got my first suspension. I was refused to go for social, which was really bad. But then some boys from Budo were good enough to invite the heroes who had been suspended to come and be part of their social. They had some crew, I don't want to mention name, but they had some crew of bad boys. And so we were invited, we went there, and then we started dancing with their girls, and then some got Nugu, and then called in the admin for us. We escaped through fences. It was all chaotic. Of course, my senior 4 results didn't come as expected from the guy who had beaten the whole of Kigezi, which was also a disappointment to me. Yeah. But still, I was told that I could not go back to St. Mary's College, whether I liked it or not, because they had identified me as, yes, I would spoil the rest. But at home, they thought I was this innocent guy, and everyone was taking advantage of me.
So no one knew about what was happening?
At home, they didn't know what was going on. They just thought these other boys are spoiling. Actually, my mother used to say, but these boys, like, they are spoiling my son.
My son is a good boy.
And when I was with them, I was the leader.
Spoiling their sons.
I wasn't spoiling their son. So some of my friends' parents refused me to go to their homes at that time. I remember I was very bad influence.
All right.
Yeah.
So what happens? Secondary, I mean,
I go HSC. During my HSC, I was expelled during my senior 6. I was doing PCB. So
where did you go?
I went to Namasagali College.
Okay.
So between the practicals and the theory, there was that 1 week of chilling. And during that week, we felt we were above the law, you know. So, of course, it's bound to happen. I was expelled. I did not sue the school. Yeah, but I was expelled. I came to Kampala, of course, and when they expel you, what more do you do? Yeah. You're redundant. So I just started to continue drinking even more.
So does that mean you didn't finish your exams?
I did not finish my exams, yeah. So what happened was that they sent me to Germany. My mother sent me to Germany to try and complete, to do pre-entry exams for university, since I had studied my A-levels already. Yeah. But when I reached there, I started...
the land of
beer. No, it's for beer, yes. Yeah. But, and yeah, I remember the first thing I discovered was where you drop a coin and you get a bottle.
Wow.
You know? And that became, so instead of going to class, when I discovered that, it was shown to me by one of my new Sudanese friends. Okay. It was in a hotel, so you just, and it's illegal to sell alcohol during the day there, but the machine was there. So as long as you had entrance into the,
put in your coin.
You put in your coin, you get your beer. Then you bag it and you leave. So then, yeah, I started that. I started drinking a lot, going to different towns. My uncle was a diplomat at the time. He felt it was going to threaten his career, so he decided, okay, fine, let us organize for this guy to go to study in England. And they started sending me money to go to England, which you know what I did with. Okay. So by the time they were saying, so are you ready now to go? There was nothing, and I was sent back to Uganda. Unfortunately, during that time, my dad passed on. He had cancer, cancer of the liver, and he had never smoked a cigarette, which only even made me now want to smoke more, because of course, you pick up smoking as well as you're growing up. So I used to use it as an excuse. I would say, but even people who don't smoke die of cancer, so why shouldn't I? Yeah. You know, so it kind of gave me more reason too.
So you're back in Uganda, you've not really done any university, or drank yourself away?
Yes. Yeah. So then they gave me another opportunity. They wanted me to go to India. I refused. Then that's when an uncle of mine said, we can take him to Russia. My first stop in Russia was not the right place to be, because I ended up with some gangsters. But fortunately, I went to Ukraine, and I arrived there 30 30th December. I think it was 30th December. And when I reached the hostel where I found my fellow Ugandans, there were, I think, 5 of them. The first question I asked them is, you guys, where is the club? And they're like, man, you guys, they had been there for 3 months. I'm like, annoyed, how can you be here for 3 months?
And you don't know
where the club is? So I met a Cameroon guy who told me where the club is. He says, just go down to where you see those cars there. The taxis say, discoteca, and they'll get you to where you want to go. So they took us to a Nigerian club. Of course, I drank all my money that day. The next morning, I asked for someone to get me phone connection. I called my mother and told her I was beaten by thugs. But I think she, yes.
But she by now had known that no
she
one is
knew,
spreading
because the
her
reason as to why I even went there was because my uncle said, life there is not easy. They will manage this guy. There is no nonsense, you know. So all those were ways in which they were trying to actually make sure that I am getting the discipline to get back on track. But all these things were not working.
Okay.
You see. So, well, I managed to go through my university, but limping, you know. They accepted drinking there. The word alcoholic is not a problem for them. Yeah. They actually help you as an alcoholic. I had a problem more with my fellow Ugandans there. Yeah. Because they looked at me, the Ugandan way of, you guys, you behave like... But these guys accepted us. You know, even during the summer, they had tables where they would brew their own alcohol at home and then bring for those guys, or even buy. And then they put on a table outside, and then they bring these zakuskas, something to chew with, you know. If you black out, they lay you down properly, or they carry you to your home.
So it's dignified.
You know what I'm saying. It was...
So long story short, you finished school.
I finished.
Barely.
Yes, I came back. Yeah, I met a wonderful woman. That was after I had been to rehabilitation.
Also, you came here?
I came here, I went to rehab. By the time I went to rehab, even my friends were not happy to be my friend. They would see me, they would tell me to, you know, because I was loud. As you can see, my hands are all over. Now imagine I'm drunk. Eh? They would enter your face also. So I got into rehabilitation. I spent there 90 days. I came out. I relapsed about after 2 weeks, and then it made me realize things a bit, you know. Then I stabilized. Then I started, you know, normal life. Okay. Yeah. But before I went to rehab, I had actually lost a job. I had been, because I studied international relations, I could speak Russian, and I had lived in Russia and Ukraine. Yeah. So I had all the advantages. So, and then my mother knew some friends who could actually support.
Some connections.
Yeah, you call them connections. Yeah. But friends, let's call them friends. And then they were offering me a diplomatic position, because we didn't have a diplomatic position. I don't think it's there till today. And I went through the process very well, and on the day of celebration, because there was a suggestion to do it, let's celebrate Russian style, where you take 100 grams, you know, per shot.
All right. So this is, you've got the job.
Yes, everything is, yeah, I think.
The new diplomat.
Properly.
Uh-huh.
And that's how the job went.
So you drank that night, and...
Yeah, and of course I did not exhibit signs of a diplomat.
Diplomacy.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, so I lost those opportunities and many others.
You to rehab.
Yes, so now I was cornered, because actually I wanted to stop, but I didn't know what was wrong. Even during my university, I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. I actually managed to do it for about 6 months. Relapse. And then on my birthday celebration,
someone popped a bottle.
Moreover, I had told them, because I had gotten saved and sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost fire.
Hallelujah.
And I told people, nobody brings alcohol to my house. Not even secular music was played in my music system. That day, I felt I was not giving people enough. And I said, but there is that magic of mine. To entertain these guys, well, let me just go and take a small one, just for today.
You were the pastor at the time.
Yes, I even had sale, because I used to come to you remember me, don't you?
I do.
Yes, I used to come for you, for KPS sale, whatever. Yeah. So I had adopted it there as well. You know, I had started a sale in my house. And I got, you know, I was drinking in hiding. Then when it came to time to serving, I remember falling on someone with the food and regurgitating. I don't know a better word to use it. And then, you know, of course, the ridicule after that, the embarrassment. I'm like, what's all this nonsense? Even God doesn't hear me after all these months.
What the heck?
Let me just go ahead. So I went on the lifestyle. Yeah.
So there's rehab.
There's rehab.
You tried in Ukraine, failed.
Failed. Came here,
Rehab.
failed. Even the opportunity, job opportunity, could not.
And so many other
encourage me.
opportunities.
Yes.
Then you dropped off a season where you became sober.
So I became sober. I started a multimedia company with the music videos, weddings, things of that nature. And it was all working well. I got married. I met a beautiful woman. Got married. You know, I would go to church. I was baptized.
How long was this period of sobriety?
Almost 7 years.
7 years?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I get
and
married.
This just came out of, you just decided?
No, it was rehab. Rehab, you learn, you see, you know the problem.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? You do a 12-step recovery plan, and then you're supposed to follow it.
So 7 years you're clean?
I'm clean.
Stable with your wife?
Yes, I'm stable with my wife. Yes, I got a daughter, and then it was during that time I wanted to become rich. I'm now stable. So I want to explore, I want to build a hotel and all those things.
Yeah.
And then I started getting advice from the wrong people. You see, people of like mind.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Birds of a feather.
So I joined the group of like-minded people, but who attended to another direction, leaving what I'm advised to do. And then I started a bar. Because the idea behind it was, you're building a hotel, and you don't want to keep picking money from a bank and borrowing from people. Just set up the bar, and it will keep giving you constant income.
Cash flow.
So I started, you know, it pulls you in.
Yeah.
It's the good life. You go in, you want to dance with guys, be happy. Married man with a child, you're in the bar. Sorry, it's a bad way to say that. But yes, I would spend my time there. When you're the boss and you're serving guys, it's like prestige. You know, they put you on that pedestal. Yeah. You see money coming in and out, you're enjoying your life. And
so you started this bar, you're not drinking.
I'm not drinking.
But your justification is, this is going to be the income
yes,
stream
money. I'm
build
now
the hotel.
Exactly building the hotel.
How
No,
long
to run the major, the paying the workers,
Yeah.
buying sand, cement. You know, those small things.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got sucked into the
How
bar
long did this
business.
plan
It lasted for about a year and a half
Without drinking?
without drinking. Everybody knew me. They even used to say, "You came to poison guys."
But you're here sober?
Yes, but
So
there
you're
was
drinking soda and water?
soda, water. I actually used to drink a lot of soda. I even got high blood pressure from that. I used to drink about a crate or something. Because the sugar gives you a high. You know, it releases endorphins.
In another way?
Yes. So I drank, I used to drink a lot of soda. But anyway, I got sucked into it. And then the tip over just came when one guy walked in. He was housing everyone, you know, these big boys.
Yeah.
And he says, "But you can't be my host and you don't take a shot."
Come on.
And I'm like, "But everybody knows here I don't even drink." He's like, "Ah, come on." So he buys a bottle, a black label at 400,000. And then he says, "Okay, give me another one."
Expensive.
No, 400 is already exaggerated.
Yeah.
It was the small
He buys it at 400,000.
400,000 just to support. And then he says, "But you can't be my host and you don't take a shot. So give me a second one, but condition is you have to take a shot." And my brain says, "But surely, why not? After all these years, all that nonsense I was told, I can take a shot." I came to my senses 3 days later.
You lie.
Yes, with a headache, sickness, fever, vomiting.
So you took a shot.
A shot.
And all you remember is 3 days later.
3 days later. Because what happened was I was like, now I've gotten the slight feeling. Let me just go and take a little more. So I went behind in the bar, in the store, opened my own bottle of black label and said, "I'll be drinking a little bit here." So I'd keep stealing a shot, another shot, until I don't remember when I stopped stealing shots and started giving everyone. So on the third day, I came to my senses when my bar was full, but there was no money, there was no stock. Just
so people, you had housed everyone?
Everyone. I'm a generous man, by the way.
More so when you are high.
More so when So it was empty, and so of course I had credibility at the time. I sent my people to go to the to the distributors, get on credit, because knowing that I'll pay back.
Yeah.
And I was serious. Now, let me sort myself out. Let me get sober. But because I'm feeling so bad, that sickness, that hangover, let me just take a little bit more.
Just cure this thing.
And I take 2 weeks. Now I'm in debt. What do? Money lenders. 3 months down the road, I had 2 debts from money lenders. I had to lock the place. I had to lock myself in. I had to pretend I don't know where. The electricity guy came to switch off my power. I got my father's spear to chase him away. You know, it was, darkness had come. I felt ashamed of myself.
Where's your daughter? Where's your wife?
They're with me. You think they'll leave you? They are the ones who are giving, my wife was giving me soup. She asked me, what do you want? She was taking care of me because she wasn't understanding it. This is not something she had ever seen. When she met me, I was this clean, organized, purposeful. Actually, I had that book I had gotten from Egypt, Purpose-Driven Life. I got from Egypt. Not
Real Hybels.
Yes. And I basically just know. So it was a shocker. She was still absorbing it. And it took her about a whole year to understand the whole. After that 1 year of seeing me going crazy, I'm in and out of getting drunk and crazy. She says, Bill, go sort yourself. Go sort out your life. Me, I'll wait for you.
When you're ready, you find me and your daughter here.
Yeah.
What's the lowest point you hit? Because I'm sure this story can go on till the cows come.
Yeah. The lowest point was when I had to leave home and I couldn't even go to my mom's home because I had called her a witch in my drunken state. And she was like, I cannot take this. Let God handle this guy. And I had nowhere to go. So I was living in somebody's house in Munyonyo, near that stage where you turn going to Munyonyo from Gaba Road.
Yeah.
Where there are now these many, anyway, it's a big open space. And there's a bar there now. But it was a small house, unfinished, no floor. And that's where I used to stay.
That's what you'd been reduced to.
That's what I'd been reduced
You'd
to.
sold your wedding ring at some point.
Yes, I drank it. Okay, I shouldn't say it as if I needed alcohol so badly. That's why I'm wearing it. Engraved, you know, I'd spent so much in it. On it, I don't remember how much, millions. But I went and they gave me 150,000. Where they sold it to me?
For a ring that you bought of $1 million.
Yes, I think it was 1.5 or something like that. But I sold it 150,000. And the man told me, if you don't want, no, you can go. It's okay.
Wow.
And I jumped because I'd come on a border. By the time I got back, I had to pay this guy 20K. But on the way, I made some stopovers. So by the time I reached my location, I was actually able to only buy 1 bottle of water with that money. And of course, the day ended. I woke up the next day, and I'm back to zero. And there's no rain.
So where does this story take a turn for?
Yeah, the story takes a turn in that I sat there and I felt I'm going to die. I had gone to Butavika and talked to some people that I knew and said, you guys, can you help me get back in? Because this is the only safe place I know to get myself back in order. And this professional tells me, Bill, I know you. Why don't you go and tell your parents to bring you? They can afford. Tell your mom. Tell your brothers. And it was right. I'm like, they don't want to. They can't. They are not interested. They have given up. And I said, then you might have come here as a drug dealer. You know, we know you people. You're very clever.
So they were afraid you're pretending.
So that I can get an entry and start selling drugs. Because first and foremost, she asked me, where are you coming from? I'm like, Munyonyo. Now, that is the place where they get those hard drugs from. So basically, I was between the rock and a hard place. I didn't want to stay in this life, and I needed to get help. But the time when I was being offered help, I refused it. Now I had no choice. So I had to heal like a dog. You see, no medication, no professional help, no nothing. So I sat down and I said, I have got to find this thing that has reduced me to nothing. And that is what I live for to this day. How could it take me from having everything? I say, I had an 8-bedroomed house with almost an acre of compound, and I'm sleeping in a slum with no floor. Munyonyo is a what do you call it? Swamp. So we used to put these tattered blankets. Yeah. You put it on the ground. In 2 hours, it's wet.
Soaked.
Are you seeing what I'm saying? I couldn't live with that. So I started trying to understand it.
You're saying I'm better at this.
Yes. I started now Googling what is the problem. I wanted to get to the roots.
Yeah.
That is when I landed on underage drinking. It first took me to chronic alcoholism being a chronic relapsing disease. Then I read about underage drinking as being one of the factors that lead to alcoholism. What is underage drinking? Underage drinking is when someone starts drinking when they are still a teenager or below, because it's illegal. And then I started discovering so much about underage drinking. So I opened a page on Facebook called Stop Underage Drinking Uganda. Simply to type in what I am understanding. You know, when you're testing yourself, because I didn't have anyone to help me, mentors or anything. I was solo. People had thrown me out. Actually, they had considered me dead. They said, Bill, we are waiting for the what? For the corpse. Yes. So then I started, what I would read about underage drinking, I would just post it. As a way of saving because I didn't have a computer, so it was the easiest way to do it. So I would write, save, and then it starts getting 2, 3 likes, 4. Then I get some questions. Then, hey, Bill, can you come and speak to my school? Then, oh, can you come and speak to my children? Hey, Bill, what is this? Then, I started talking about underage drinking. Then people started asking me about my life. Then one journalist decides to say, because I'm a brother to a celeb, okay, those things.
Do your story.
He says, but it seems you have an interesting life. Can I talk to you? So I'm like, yes. So he asks me about me. And I was still doing badly at the time. And when he asked me about me, I opened up and I told him everything people don't talk about. Urinating on the bed, abusing my parents, living a reckless life, wasting people's money. You get what I mean? And then he was like shocked. Somebody asked, how much did they pay you to give this information? And I said, no, this is what happens. Who doesn't know that this happens? If it happened to me, it's happening to other people, but nobody wants to talk about it. Now, that is when people started getting interest. That was, I think, June of 2015. Most of the good things happened to me in June. My wedding, even being chased from home was June.
So you get back to your wife, you sober up?
It took some time.
Yeah.
She started realizing, now I am the person. You don't allow garbage back, yes. And then, she came back slowly. I'm here today.
Wow. Yeah. We need to bring this to a wrap. And what I'm going to ask you, Bill, is to take a minute or two. And I want you to look into the camera, look straight into the camera. And what is your message? And hopefully I'd like you to speak to 3 different people. One, the person who is currently dealing with whatever addiction. 2, the person who is, playing around like you started, at the start. And 3, family, people who have someone, how can they help, So like in the next 5 minutes, I'll just take the back seat here and let you give your nuggets.
Yes, I would like to speak to everybody out there listening to me, most especially the young ones who haven't started. I have this program which is called Teen Smart. Teen Smart is a program which is trying to help young people see the value of living healthy lifestyle options, choosing healthy lifestyle options, because when you choose the wrong option, it could lead to addiction. And it starts with a sip, as I say. It could start as a joke. It could start as, maybe let's just take this medication or this tablet, this pill, to stay awake and be able to read. Let's take this just to have pleasure for the night. It seems harmless. It could be a drink. Let me have some wine. But there is a reason as to why it is illegal not to use alcoholic drinks. Illegal. meaning it is against the law, meaning it is punishable by the law. By the time that is done, even the adult who sometimes supports the young person to drink alcohol, they should know that it is dangerous. There is a reason as to why it is illegal. So if you haven't started, don't start. Wait till the time when you're able to sit down and make informed decisions, as opposed to just doing things because of the pressure around you. 2, I would like to speak to parents. Parents, don't ignore the fact that it is real. Addiction is not a choice. I did not sit down and wake up and decide I want to be messed up in my life. According to my story, you've had a little bit of it. I did not choose it. It happened. And when it happens, it's real. So you don't ignore these things. Find out what can be done and how you can do anything about it. 3rd, I would like to speak to people who are living in active addiction, people who are suffering from addiction. There is a solution. It is not the end. There are 2 parties involved when it comes to someone who is living in addiction. There is the family that is involved, that is most hurt by what happens to a person suffering addiction. And there is the person who is the addict themselves. Now, the person who is an addict, it is best to get help, professional help. Get help from a substance use or abuse prevention or treatment counselor. You can check with a psychiatrist or your doctor to start with. Find a solution. Get into rehabilitation if you've tried always and they have failed. But the problem is that many of the people in addiction, in active addiction, are still in denial, and sometimes their life is at risk. So that is when the family comes in, and we do have what is called forced interventions. A forced intervention is when you get the person who is an addict and you take them into a rehabilitation center for treatment because they are living a life that is dangerous, that they are about to kill themselves and they don't even know it. So when you see that the person has reached a point whereby they cannot do anything to help themselves, they are too weak to, or they are too confused to, take them into a rehabilitation. First come, meet with a professional and let the professional give you the appropriate intervention that the person needs. It could be outpatient, it could be inpatient, it could be simply counseling, it could be therapy, it could be the anonymous 12-step program, meetings, or other. But don't leave it unchecked, because usually you either lose this person to insanity, permanent insanity, or death. I am currently running a campaign called the Teen Smart Drive. The Teen Smart Drive is about getting 100,000 t-shirts and giving them to 100,000 teen students by 2020, by the end of 2020. These are t-shirts with messages, and the messages are entirely centered on what you read here, which is, I choose to refuse to abuse my body and my brain. That means that I will make sure that I do the right thing. I'll live a healthy lifestyle options. Now, these t-shirts, I've called them the Not For Me series. It's something of this nature. Not For Me series, that's the hashtag. So if you go on the social media platforms and you hashtag Not For Me, you'll see the various different t-shirts that come. We have the message here, which is you booze, you lose. It is illegal for young people. These are t-shirts for teenagers, remember? So you booze, you lose, like I did. We have other t-shirts which talk about pornography, which talk about underage drinking, how it maims your brains. We have about drugs and all that. And this is a campaign we'd like to bring to every school that we have teenagers in. So your support will be welcome.